What's going on, my friends? Welcome to episode 33 of the Get Geek Out podcast, bringing you the hot takes, play stories, and spicy picks on New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, national, and international sports. Hosted by yours truly, Adam Grisani. Join us now on 9 AM, Alex Reach, Chris Kieran, Marcelo Spartak, Sam Morrell, and our special guest, Justin Todd. You can listen to the podcast right now on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at GetYourGameOnP. With all that said, it's time to get your game on. Yo, guys, full house today.
Yes, so
Well, close to full. Close to full. So Michael's running a little bit late. Close to full. So, Sam, you're back. Sam, how are you doing?
Shoulder still hurts, but hey, at least my travel team is, winning.
Oh, what's your guys' record so right now?
So there's two teams. There's the 7th grade travel team. They're currently, after today, 6-3.
Impressive.
And then, while the record may not seem impressive, I'm letting you know the 6th grade travel team were the 3rd best team. The 6th grade travel team was 2-3. However, it's because we lost against the 2 top seeds. And
that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, the top seed hasn't lost a game. The 2nd seed has only lost 1 game. And then the 3rd best team in the league, we blew them out by 14.
Awesome.
So I think we're going fine.
Awesome. I'm definitely gonna definitely gotta come out to a game. Note to self: come to one of Sam's games. Note to self. All right, guys. But we got a very special guest joining us today. I mean, Alex, since you know him so well, and he's your colleague as Philly Sports Today. Alex, introduce our guest.
Okay, this is my good guest named Justin. He's been a part of Philly Sports Today for a good amount of time, and his content is amazing, and I'm just glad that he has the opportunity to come on and speak his opinion on the James Harden situation.
Yeah, it's an absolute honor. Thanks for having me on.
Glad to have you, Justin. Glad to have you. But you guys know where we're starting, right?
Absolutely.
Guys, pop quiz. What are we starting with?
James Harden.
We're starting with, obviously, the New York Rangers. Like, obviously.
We do gotta talk about them at some point, like Alex, when we do an next episode, because man, the Rangers are playing excellent, and it's making myself as a Dallas fan and probably you, Alex, as a Flyers fan, jealous. But that aside, the Nets and the Brooklyn Nets and Philadelphia Sixers just today with the NBA trade deadline officially expired. The Brooklyn Nets have agreed to a monster, absolute blockbuster trade. The Nets sent James Harden and Millsap to Philadelphia, while Philadelphia sends Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks, one unprotected 2022 first-round pick with the right to defer in 2023, as well as a protected 2027 first-round pick. That's according to Adrian Wojnarowski. So, Justin, we're definitely going to give you the floor. Sam, I know you got a lot of thoughts on this, but I just want to give a quick opening statement as that this shade shows a couple of things. Number one, James Harden was definitely leaving Brooklyn in the offseason. There is no doubt about it. With all the reports of him not being happy, being upset about the Kyrie vaccination test, not living record, whatever, the guy was clearly on his way out. So there's 2 perspectives I'm going to take this as a Nets fan. There's one is negative, the other is positive. I'll let me get the negative one out of the way. I'm sure right now, if Sean Marks is looking back on that James Harden trade, I'm sure if looking back on Sean Marks wishes he could take that back because think about this, guys. Let's just take a look at the packages the Nets got: Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, 2 first-round picks. That's a solid package overall. That's a solid package, but is it worth giving up Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, and all those first picks? Like, Would you have given that for that type of package? No. The answer is a clear and obvious no. And also, it's also no. It's also like it, and there's also the factor that if James Harden like wasn't gonna leave Brooklyn, if like James Harden was committed to stay, there's no way on earth the Nets make this trade. There's no way. But all that aside, what we do know is that James Harden was gonna leave Brooklyn, and all like was gonna leave Brooklyn, and ultimately you can't like undo that trade. So with all that aside, I do really like this trade for the Nets. You get Ben Simmons, who say whatever you want about him and like his shooting issues. He's an elite passer and an elite defender, so an elite defender, which is both of these, which are of the for Nets, because Ben Simmons is easily going to replace James Harden as the Nets' best passer and best ball distributor. And he's also that big time defender that they desperately need. We've been saying, guys, on this podcast, we've been saying so much about how the Nets need defense. They add that with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is one of the best defenders in the league. So you add that in Ben Simmons. You add Seth Curry, who with Joe Harris like gonna be out longer. Just Seth Curry is like one of the elite shooters in the league. So you add an elite shooter in him. He's also a really, really good ball handler too. So at least for now, with Kyrie Irving not being able to play at home games, you have like someone else other than Simmons to handle the ball. And you add Andre Drummond, who despite his age is still like a great rebounder off the bench. Like overall, I like this trade from a Nets fan perspective. I think it's a deal that they ultimately just had to make, and ultimately I'm satisfied as a Brooklyn Nets fan. Justin, you're our wrestling guest today, so I'm gonna give you the floor and break this down from a Sixers perspective.
So you can look at this a lot of ways. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about it. I've seen people say the Nets won, Sixers won, and I've seen people say this was an even trade, which I'm on the boat of an even trade. I do think both teams do improve from this trade. Philly getting that playmaker, that scorer that they've always needed, a real point guard that we've been lacking. You know, Tyrese Maxey's trying to been running point guard, which he's a pure shooting guard. So we've been trying to teach him to play point guard for the whole season. James Harden really helps out with that. Now, looking at the Nets' perspective of things, you get a great defensive guy like Ben Simmons, as the Nets have been lacking on the defensive end a lot. You get a really good playmaker. You get shooters, which they've been lacking with Seth Curry. And you get a really good, solid backup center in Andre Drummond. Steve Nash has a lot in his hands here because he has to figure out lineups. He doesn't know really what he has with Ben Simmons, especially he hasn't played basketball since Game 7, which was in June. But I'm really excited to see what both teams bring, and it should be fun.
Yeah, I mean normally I'll probably go by the Max Kellerman quote of like where the team that gets the best player in a trade usually wins the trade. And usually I agree with that, but I think this trade is like can be an exception to the rule because James Harden literally wasn't happy in Brooklyn and he was clearly under the clock. He's clearly like compared to the James Harden of years past, this season, he just hasn't been as good as like the James Harden we've all known and loved. Now, could he return to form in Philly? We'll see. But ultimately, like if the net, because it's there, right? And I tweet this out. This trade changes nothing for the Nets. It changes nothing for the Nets. If Evan Durant can come back and stay healthy, and if Kyrie Irving can get back on the court for all time, then the Nets are going to be serious championship contenders, and this trade doesn't change that. This trade doesn't change that. So, ultimately, from a Nets fan perspective, that's ultimately my take on this deal. Sam, Chris, what says you guys can go now? Alex?
Yeah, you kind of talked. I like the Nets, what the Nets got back with Tone a lot personally. I mean, Simmons is going to get a lot of hate, but he's an all-star caliber player, top 25, 30-ish player in the league. Like he's an elite defender, and he does a lot right. So theoretically, he should fit at least somewhat well alongside Kyrie and KD. I mean, it'll be interesting to see because he used to with the ball in his hands a little bit more, so interesting to see how that works out. But I mean, his skill set should work pretty well, and I love that the Seth Curry addition's big, especially with Joe Harris being injured, and you don't know what that situation is going to turn out like. I do like how Cam Thomas has been playing recently, but getting Seth Curry, a guy who can really shoot the ball well, and they didn't have to give up Patty Mills, so they have that extra guy, so he'll be able to come off the bench and still be a big time scorer for them, I think. So I really like what they did. And then obviously Sixers, they got James Harden. Like you talked about, he hasn't been as good, but I mean he's still an all-star. He's still a really good player, and he still fills that need for the Sixers to become a title contender for this season. The one worry I have is looking. I mean, it's in the future. He opted into his player option for next year, so it's not an issue to like retaining him right away. But his long term contract is going to be very expensive, and I'm a little iffy on how that'll work out for him. Obviously, it's all about getting a championship, so that's what matters. But looking down in 4 or 5 years, if you're paying him close to $60 million, I'm a little bit skeptical of that if you can't get a championship out of it.
Well, if I might add, it's kind of like the Chris Paul situation with the
Definitely.
Phoenix Suns, and
Definitely.
where
and that worked out a lot better
in where you're paying Chris Paul, the Suns, they're paying for a few good years of Chris Paul, and then the rest of his contract are probably going to be a few bad years, and they're willing to take that risk just so they can get the few good years out of him. And I think that's what we're going to do with James Harden. I do think he'll play the rest of his career here. Obviously the money's going to hurt. We're gonna have to figure out a way to make that work. An idea is a salary dump with Tobias Harris to OKC or a place like the Indiana Pacers. But we're paying him for I think he has a good 4 years left.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
even if the athleticism isn't there, he's still an absolute floor general, pass the ball. I mean, he's averaging around 9 or 10 assists a game. He can still run an offense without being in his prime athletic years. So I think we'll make it work, and I think he fits really well, especially with Joel Embiid and the whole pick and roll and taking less pressure off of Embiid on the offensive end, and taking less pressure off of Embiid allows Embiid to really bring his energy on the defensive end and kind of try to return into his defensive player of the year candidate form, which I'm hoping that we'll see that soon.
Yeah, that's a really good point, bringing up that Chris Paul trade. It's definitely kind of pretty much similar mindset.
Yeah, Sam, you could go now. I'm pretty sure you said you had a lot of thoughts on this, so we're waiting to get to you. So, Sam, you could go now.
Yeah, I'll go after. I'll go after Sam.
All right. So first of all, I think we're playing this way too down in terms of the Nets. We're playing this way too down in terms of the Nets. Like, let's be real. What they got for James Harden, they got Ben Simmons, who, when he was playing good, was one of the best passers in the league and one of the best defenders in the league. He's one of very few players that can guard 1 through 5. We can all agree on that. We can all agree on that. Seth Curry, he's one of the best shooters in the league. Okay, he is a Curry.
Well,
Anyone
don't overrate
Curry.
Seth Curry. There's a lot of downsides to him.
I'm not
also a lot
saying
of upside
there's
to it
not.
as well.
Yeah, like for example, like Seth, in terms of defense, his defense is not the best. He's not that good defensively. But in terms of just shooting and offense, like he's really good. Now, in terms of like what else they got Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is a very, very good defensive center and can get a lot of rebounds. This is what the Nets needed. The Nets added James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant in terms of trying to outscore people, but that's not how you win games. You need some level of defense. They didn't have any defense whatsoever. They just had a bunch of offensive players, and then the offensive players knew how to play some defense. Like Kyrie's not a defensive player. James Harden's not a defensive player. The only person that you can actually say can play defense is Kevin Durant. And unfortunately, because of his torn Achilles, he's still gaining back that athleticism that he had in Golden State, where he made a reputation of being a defensive player. So the Nets, I feel like, got better because of this trade, because now all the weaknesses that they had before, they just vanished. Like, all the weaknesses they had just vanished. And yeah, you lose a scorer like James Harden, but you still have Kevin Durant when he comes back, and if he's healthy at 100%, he's going to be a problem. You still have Kyrie, who, yeah, say what you want, he's a part-time player. I agree. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I've already ranted on Kyrie Irving on this podcast. But Kyrie is still a top 25, top 20 player in this league. And in terms of skills, no one can really match him. Like, he's an elite scorer in this league, and he's an elite player in this league. No one can take that away from him. And then when Joe Harris comes back, you're going to have two deadly shooters. And Joe Harris, when he actually makes his threes and is, when he does his job correctly. And Seth Curry, who you Philly fans know, he makes a lot of threes. Like, even in the playoffs, he was actually making a lot of threes. He was doing well in the playoffs. The Philadelphia 76ers, on the other hand, I'm concerned about them for this trade. And it's not because James Harden isn't one hell of a player. He's a top 10 player in this league. He's a top 10 player in this league. Even when he's playing down, he's still a top 10 player in this league. My problem is he's going to want to come in. He's going to want to score a lot. What's going to happen with Embiid? Because Embiid right now is your best player, and he's basically your future. You can't handcuff Embiid by letting James Harden do whatever he wants. Like, you still need to tell James Harden, yeah, even though you're coming to this team, you're still the second option. So how is James Harden going to feel being the second option, especially to someone like Embiid, who's a big man, who James Harden, like, we know his history with big men. Dwight Howard didn't work out. When he was in OKC and had Serge Ibaka and Kendrick Perkins, that didn't work out. When we had Russell Westbrook, who was essentially for the Rockets their big man, that didn't work out. How is that chemistry really going to work? Because I'm letting you know, if James Harden starts causing problems in Philly, and I have to choose between Joel Embiid and James Harden, I'm choosing Joel Embiid 10 times out of 10. Because that's your future. That's your MVP right now. That is the MVP of the league right now, Joel Embiid.
Well,
so,
okay.
No, you can.
Okay. Well, see, the thing about James Harden is he changed his game when he went to Brooklyn. He was a pure scorer. He evolved his game into a passer, and he took on that second or third role, and he was fine with it. The locker room problems came from Kyrie Irving and him not getting the vaccine shot. James Harden was not the locker room problem. It was Kyrie Irving. And I don't know if you've seen the reports, but they didn't work well together. And you brought up Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard, fresh off of coming from the Lakers, he was also a locker room problem. Russell Westbrook, they didn't fit well together. The thing with Chris Paul, it just didn't work out. But coming to Philly, he can evolve his game like he did when he went to Brooklyn. He knows he's going to know his role, and I think he's going to perfect it. He knows this is Joel Embiid's team. He's not trying to come here and take over the team. He's trying to come here and help himself and help others around him try and win a championship. So I think the whole locker room problem, chemistry is blown out of proportion. I think the 76ers have one of the best teams in the league involving chemistry. Everybody loves each other, and the whole Ben Simmons situation kind of like brought everybody together. But I don't think chemistry is a problem at all. That's all I had to say.
All right, that's.
I didn't want to say, Sam, like you were saying about how the Nets got better, like with this trade. I agree with you, and I disagree with you. I agree with you in the sense that with the way James Harden was playing this season, like he honestly was his best self. Like then yeah, like if James Harden was going to continue to play like that, then yeah, you could say the Nets ultimately got better, but ultimately, like, if we're talking like peak James Harden, like MVP level James Harden, like if we're talking peak James Harden, if the Nets could have that, like the way James Harden performed like last year, like after he got traded for them, that I'm ultimately going to disagree. The Nets will ultimately be best when like with KD, Kyrie, and Harden all on the floor, and they're cooking because you saw the record, like. They only played 16 games together. This big three that we were all raving about, they only played 16 games together, and in those 16 games, they were 13-3.
Yeah, they were a great trio. I mean, it's one.
And they're gonna. I tweet this out. They're gonna go down as one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history.
Yeah, absolutely, and they'll go down as the biggest what if, and also they're gonna go down as one of the biggest failures in NBA history. And I don't think Sean Marks wanted to take that risk of being one of the biggest disappointments in NBA history. So he traded James Harden, and you could say the Nets get a lot better, but I don't think they got a lot better. I mean, I think they filled some holes that obviously they were missing, but you could say the same about the Sixers. Every single hole that they had got filled, and now with the trade of James Harden, obviously new holes open up, like our second unit. We don't really have a good second unit, but now James Harden coming to Philadelphia really opens up things for the buyout market, because it seems like we are the place to go for buyout candidates. A couple buyout candidates like Dennis Schroeder, Goran Dragic, even though he might have his eyes set on Dallas. But with the holes in the second unit for the Sixers team, I do think they get repaired with buyouts.
I agree. Yeah, I think the Sixers definitely get a guy or two there. But also, I don't think Andre Drummond solves the Nets' interior issues at all, personally. I don't think he does.
I agree.
And I think he helps, but I don't think he solves.
He helps, but
I don't think he solves the defensive interior issues.
You know what? When he left Detroit and went to Cleveland, and then
I think Ben Simmons fixes like the next addresses more than that's issues, at least defensively.
Because you get better on the perimeter, that helps the interior for sure.
Yeah, so what I was saying is when he left Detroit and went to Cleveland and then went to LA, everybody counted him out as this low IQ guy who doesn't bring anything to the team. And you saw what happened when he came to Philly. He was a great fit here, and he knew his role. I don't think with the Lakers he really knew his role and what he was doing. But when he came to Philly, he knew his role, he knew what he had to do, and he did it. And it raised the trade value a lot. So I think if we have the Drummond from last year, which is a poor fit, I don't think you get this deal done.
I still think you get this deal done, but then I think you then have to give up someone like Tybalt, which would be really bad because Tybalt is a really important player for you guys. He's your lockdown defender.
Yeah, we almost did include Thibault. Daryl Morey wanted to do everything he can to not include Thibault in it,
and especially Maxey.
And I don't know if you guys saw the report. It was either the 2 first-round picks we gave them or give us Thibault, and we chose the 2 first-round picks, which I do think it's a lot, especially the first-round picks. But it's a 2022. Even that is a very stacked draft next year. So it's really going to suck to miss out on a first-round pick. But, you had to do what you had to do to get James Harden paired with Joel Embiid. I don't see a problem with it, but it is a little much.
Yeah, it is. But I think, like, the reason with it being such a stacked draft that you could choose either the 2022 or 2023 drafts, I think that's ultimately why the Nets ultimately decided to, like, not trade that pick. Because there were a lot of reports saying that the Nets weren't done, that this was going to be the only trade they made, and it was the only trade they made. So I'm sure the Nets really value that pick that they got. And they weren't just going to trade it away for nothing.
I really do think the Nets ran out of time because about 15 minutes before trade deadline, there was reports came out that they were interested in the Pacers center Miles Turner, which would have sucked if the Nets got him, but I'm glad they didn't.
That would have been a big.
I don't
know how that would have worked money wise, but he's $17 million, so they could have found a way.
Yeah, they wanted to flip our 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah,
It puts them
That
in
would
a
have
good
been a
spot.
huge addition.
They'll put them in a good spot this summer to address anything that they may need.
Yeah,
That
that first round pick next year is really valuable.
it is.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Nets do with it going forward. But when you look at this Nets team, you got LaMarcus Aldridge, you got Nick this Claxton. There were a lot of reports that like the Nets were like apparently going to be interested in moving him. Like I personally, honestly, I ain't really see the fit unless like it was good, unless Classic was going to be in the trade for I forgot who it is you mentioned.
You mentioned Miles Turner.
Miles Turner, unless he was going to be in a trade for Miles Turner, I personally would have held on to.
I'm sure there was a couple.
Claxton.
There was a decent amount of centers like that who didn't get moved. That I kind of I expected more action in that kind of.
Yeah, I expected King center.
I expected him to go, and I thought Jacob Potter would go too from San
Antonio. I didn't like that he was being shopped.
Yeah,
by
I didn't want them to move him, but
yeah, there's
a lot of reports.
I think Jakob Poeltl is a really solid center, and I don't see why they would move him.
Yeah, but the Kings, we can all agree the Kings probably made the dumbest trade on their part by giving away their future basically to the Pacers.
I could go on all day about the Kings and then make
I think
wrong move after the wrong move.
I think they should have gave up Fox. They gave up the wrong guard.
Halliburton so
much. Absolutely.
Like,
especially with De'Aaron Fox having such a down year.
Yeah, you haven't been.
You got to move him.
You should be improving every single year. I think it was a really big mistake on trading away Tyrese Halliburton.
Like Fox and Sabonis are a fun duo. They'll compete for the play-in with that group, but like, I get you haven't made playoffs in a long time, but like, I still feel like they were in a spot they could have positioned themselves better for long term instead of just like sneak into the playoffs. Maybe like I get you haven't made playoffs so long, but I don't know.
I think the Kings kind of improved as crazy as it sounds, man.
They definitely did.
I think they improved.
Like, not long term.
I don't know. I feel like you could have gotten way better packages for Halliburton.
They could have got way better. I see what they were doing.
Like you gave away a young star with such a high ceiling. You gave away one of the best 3-point shooters in the league with Buddy Hield.
Yeah,
but they were trying to move Buddy for a while.
Yeah, I just don't think that was.
I understand.
I don't either.
Yeah, but I mean, I watched the game last night, and Sabonis is going to have an impact there. I mean, I don't. I like the way he plays. He brings the energy. I mean, he makes the right decision for a big man. He moves the ball well. He moves well, off the ball. I mean, you can make that case with Fox. I mean, I would have given up Fox over Hallie. I think Hallie is going to develop into a really, really, nice point guard. But, obviously they think different. But I like the depth. I don't mind the depth that they brought in. I mean, they brought in young guys. They didn't want to let Harrison Barnes go. I thought he was going to go. But, he's looking to be a vital piece too. I mean, obviously they're in the West, so they're in the East. Yeah, they would definitely be a play-in or a playoff team. But it's the West, and, the West is tough. But maybe they could sneak into the play-in. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a guy that they traded for that I wanted, which was a guy like Justin Holiday. I think he's a really solid player.
He brings the energy. He brings the energy. I like that.
Guys, actually who got like a really good like sneaky trade in? The Pistons, I think, with Marvin Bagley. I think because even though Bagley's having down, I think
so.
I feel like
it's just how you're gonna get playing time for him though.
No, but it's like just in general, it's like now they have a very good young core and like Bagley and then Cade Cunningham. They have I'm not sure. They still have Jeremy Grant.
They did. Jeremy Grant didn't get.
I thought they were going to move.
Yeah, they still have Jeremy Grant there. So the Pistons are like sneaky. They have a very good young core going forward. Actually,
I don't think Bagley's part of that long term though. I
don't think so either.
Bagley's such a low risk, high reward kind of player because you can. People are already calling him a big draft bust. I mean, I guess you could say it. I mean, he didn't really have that kind of.
He didn't really have a role on that team, though.
Yeah,
it was going to be hard to fit him in.
especially with going to Pistons, such a young team and potential to develop there. I mean, this is the make it or break it point for Marvin Bagley in his career.
Yeah. Plus, either way, we have to remember we were saying the same thing about Lonzo Ball when he was with the Lakers, and then when he was moved to the Pelicans, we were like, yeah, he's kind of a good player, but he's not like second round. He's not like second overall pick worthy. Now he went to he played for the last year of the Pelicans, and then he moved to the Bulls. We're like, okay, he's still not like second pick worthy, but now he's like a top 5 player in the draft. Now we can all say okay, yeah, he was at least a good solid pick.
Yeah, but I mean, Lonzo wasn't a terrible
player though.
Lonzo Ball has improved in every
top 5,
most statistics in every single year of his career. Everything's improved. Yeah, his shooting, his points per game, assists, everything. It's improved every single year.
Top 5.
I would have to look at that draft class. I don't know. It's not my head.
No, because
I don't know about top 5.
No, because I know number 1 would be I think Donovan Mitchell was in that draft. I think
Jason Tatum would be number 1.
Jason Tatum would be number 1.
Oh, that was the Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Tatum draft.
Yeah, it was Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Tatum, but then Donovan Mitchell was number 13th. For me personally, I would put Donovan Mitchell over Jason Tatum, but that's just my personal opinion. Just because
I wouldn't do that.
I
really disagree.
I would have Bam Adebayo over Donovan Mitchell.
Absolutely.
No, I disagree with that all.
Absolutely. But
I'd have you
gotta look at it deeper.
On Donovan Mitchell.
I loved him coming out of college,
but deeper though.
He's a really good bucket getter, but I don't.
Bam Adebayo was supposed to turn into this huge superstar. I mean, ESPN had him.
This year has been a little. I mean, he's been
ESPN had him rated over Joel Embiid just a year ago. He was supposed to progress into this I wouldn't say superstar, but into this all-star kind of player, and he hasn't done that. I do think Donovan Mitchell is a much better player than him, but I would take Jason Tatum over both of them.
Yeah.
Listen, Sam, I understand.
That class, I think, though.
You think so?
Back at it, yeah.
I gotta look at the
Lonzo. It's Tatum, Fox, Mitchell, and then Bam, and then Lonzo.
I don't know if I'm putting Fox over Mitchell.
Not in order. That wasn't in order.
Okay. I
was just going down the order of the draft and saying it.
I mean,
because Jonathan Isaac's been too injured. Even though I love him.
I see what Sam's trying to say, but I mean, you got to look at it, deep. I mean, the roles that they both have on the team, obviously Mitch is the number 1 guy, and Bam isn't really, but the way Bam is involved in that offense, he definitely makes an impact. But I mean, they don't need him to be the number 1.
No, but
I'm saying you got Jimmy Butler, you got the key pieces, but
this is what I'm saying.
For what it's worth, though, Bam he plays a very important role on that team. I honestly believe that.
This is what I try to say, and this is why I said I would choose Donovan Mitchell just slightly over Jason Tatum. It's because this is what I did in the bubble when it was LeBron versus Giannis MVP, and then people were saying Giannis shouldn't have been MVP. This is what I was saying. I was take Giannis off the Bucks and take LeBron off the Lakers. The Lakers would still make the playoffs, and the Bucks would either they may make the playoffs, but they still have that chance where they won't. While the Lakers, you were oh no, yeah, they're a playoff team. With the AD, they're a playoff team. They're a 7th seed at least.
I disagree.
So you're telling me that the Lakers would still make the playoffs without LeBron?
I'm not sure they would.
In the bubble,
there's no way
now.
I disagree.
I know, but I'm saying there's no way. I disagree with that. Even though AD was having a hell of a year, especially a hell of a run in the bubble, I don't think they would make the playoffs. I can't agree with that.
If LeBron was not on that team.
Yeah, I can't agree with that. You need LeBron on that team, man.
Would we agree though that the Bucks would be worse without Giannis than the Lakers without LeBron?
I mean, they wouldn't be worse, but they wouldn't get to the finals. They wouldn't get deep in the playoffs. I don't think they would be worse.
Are we talking about the bubble Bucks or the
bubble Bucks?
They didn't have Holiday then, did they?
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. Oh, okay, they probably wouldn't even be in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. The
don't
bubble
know.
Lakers, they had Rondo still. They had Howard when Howard was actually
Yeah,
playing
but
good.
Rondo's not
Yeah,
this
but Rondo,
great
that's what I'm
guy
saying.
that
Like,
can carry a team.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Rondo isn't like, an impact player like that.
Okay.
I mean, definitely take him over Russ. I'll give you that. But
Okay, but
Well, value contract wise, yeah.
this is what I'm trying. Anyway, so not the point. The point is, if you were to take Donovan Mitchell off of this Jazz team, what would the Jazz become?
They'd still be a playoff
probably
team.
not even a player.
They'd be a playoff
Maybe
team.
a player, in my opinion. I say player.
Okay.
If you take Gobert off the team, they're one of the worst teams in the West. Gobert makes a much bigger impact.
They really struggled defensively.
He does.
That's true.
I think Mitch is out after this season, though.
He's going to be out soon.
I think Mitch is out.
I don't think this season, but
I think it's 50-50.
I think he's out. If
Wouldn't
they're a first
shock
round
me.
exit, he's out.
Hey, listen.
They don't like each other. These reports keep coming out that they don't like each other.
Listen, all I'm saying is, Mitch, if you want to stay in the West, the Pelicans, they're upcoming. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, I don't know if I'm taking Mitch over Tatum. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't
I'm
know if I
taking
can do
Tatum
that.
over Mitchell 100%.
I'm taking Tatum over Mitchell 100%.
I just think Tatum both into the floor.
Just impacts. You take
Impacts
Tatum off that
anyways.
Celtics team. They're not that good.
Oh, no.
I mean, the Celtics aren't that
They're
good
not that
anyway.
No.
Yeah, but
Since we brought up the Celtics, I love them getting Derek
Yeah.
White. I think that's
I love that.
I love that move.
I love that move for what it's worth.
Like, it doesn't make
Love
them a
that.
contender or anything, but he's got
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's got a
listen,
very
though,
tradable
the
contract if they decide to
but listen,
move
though,
him
the
for
thing-
$30.
I don't really
about-
like Josh Richardson. I mean, especially
yeah.
he was on the
He could've
Sixers.
went.
I hated him, but
Yeah.
I think Derek White is a good upgrade.
The thing that I like about Derek White is that he's not. I mean, he's not really flashy, but he does everything that you need. He could shoot. He knows how to set up. His players. He could defend. He's pretty solid. I mean, I'm taking him over Schroeder every time. He knows how to control the game, how to control the pace. I don't think the Spurs really should have did that. I mean, it came out of nowhere. I didn't even know they were thinking about moving him. But it's obvious.
Just a fresh start for Derek White.
Yeah. But it's obvious
the
DeJounte Murray didn't like that
Spurs do
move.
have
I
other
mean,
young guys they like. I think they like Devin Vassell a lot.
But
Yeah, and the
but
Spurs
I
have a
think-
really good development program there. They
do.
always take guys and make them into stars.
They do, but I think DeJounte Murray, man, I don't know if he's gonna stay there that long.
I'm a really big fan of DeJounte Murray.
I love him. He
DeJounte
should come to the
Murray's-
Knicks. If you're listening to this, DeJounte, come to the Knicks. Listen, please.
DeJounte Murray was really underrated because not a lot of people even voted him for the All-Star game. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing? This guy's like,
Well, you gotta look at where he came from. He came from a torn ACL. He didn't really have. He was hyped coming out of college, but he wasn't really supposed to be as good as he is now. You know what I mean? So what he's doing is amazing for that team.
All right. I think we should give the floor to Alex because he's had his hand
Alex
raised
has had his
for, like,
hand
20
raised forever
minutes.
now. So
Hey, I still never talked about the
Alex.
trade.
Sorry, Alex. It's Aki and Sola, but go ahead.
I mean,
You talk after Alex.
I'm trying to avoid as much as possible from non-Philly fans. So, this trade is worth what it was, and I think that the Sixers, if they did not make this trade by the deadline, then everyone would be so overhyped about not letting all these memes and stuff on Twitter would be absolutely going crazy from Daryl Morey to anyone on the Sixers organization. And I think that having James Harden with the team now, I think he can finally realize that this team is a contender and a solid team. And I think that not trading Maxey or Thibault away is a serious gift from Daryl Morey, the Sixers president. I feel like that if they lock in every game and everything goes well, I think that they got a great, easy chance to do some damage all the way through the playoffs. And on the Nets side of things, I just think that adding Seth Curry with Ben Simmons, I think that that's a pretty huge step in the right direction. But still, I'm a little optimistic on Ben Simmons's offensive system that he has, and I think that like everything that people are saying is true, and I think that, and in my opinion, I think that the Sixers won this trade, no matter what you can say about it. And the reason why I say it is James Harden is a really great offensive player, and when Embiid drives to the hoop and he gets stuck in transition, then he's got Tyrese Maxey, Korkmaz, or Harden just completely destroying the offensive playmaking, and it's just, I mean, I'm really happy that they got this done, and I just can't wait to see what happens throughout the next couple of months. And I think that the Sixers really nailed it in their heads with everything that went on today. And I think that it's just a very I don't know, I'm just lost on words. It's been a hectic day on the Philly side of things, and I'm really glad that they got that done, and we can move on from Ben Simmons with everything that involved him of not being a great playmaker off the court. And I think that having Harden with the team now, they can be in a serious contender situation. And I think that I totally agree with what Justin had to say about them. And I think that it just, everything around it is awesome. And I just want to tip my hat off to Daryl Morey, the Sixers president, for making the move. I think it was a fantastic move, no matter who says what and what their opinion is on it. And I think that, like, all in all, this trade was absolutely great for this Philly squad.
Yeah.
Let me please go. Please. I have a lot to say about this too.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Go ahead,
So
Marcellus.
I've been seeing a lot of mixed reviews. You know, I've been talking. I know a couple of Nets fans. When I first seen the trade, go down, I was like, oh my God, I didn't think this was really gonna happen. You know, you see a lot of reports going on. You saw a lot of reports that Harden wasn't happy, this, that. So I didn't think it was gonna happen. But now that it actually happened, I definitely think the Nets got, a little bit of the better end of the deal. I mean, I'm not saying that Philly got worse. I mean, they got Harden, so obviously that's somebody they needed. They need a playmaking, guard that can. He's an all-star, so we know Harden can do. I do think that Harden and Embiid pick and roll is going to be very tough to stop. But for what it's worth, on the Nets side, I see they wanted to get Thibault, and I think that the fact that instead of getting Thibault, they got 2 first-round picks out of it is really, really sweet. Now everybody likes to give Ben Simmons, they like to discredit him, but you got to think about it. Ben Simmons, the former Defensive Player of the Year, you know what you're getting out of him. You don't need him to shoot, but he's in a good position because he's going to set up, guys like KD and Kyrie. He doesn't even need to shoot. I mean, he has one of the best players in the league. He's working with one of the best point guards in the league too. And for what it's worth, the Nets got the depth that they needed. They finally got a big man. I think getting Seth Curry is huge. Not losing Mills and Harris, that's huge. Because now you got guys that can shoot. They're gonna need that. You know what I mean? And also, you got to think about it. Also, Harden's 33. Ben Simmons is 25. He's not getting any younger. Now, if the Nets signed him to that max deal, I think it was like 5 years for like 270. So the guy's gonna be playing until he's like 38. You gotta think about it. If the Nets did that, they wouldn't be able to get deeper with these guys because they're paying for all three of these guys. You know what I mean? So the roster probably would have been the same. Bruce Brown and Javon Carter, all these guys. You look at that roster, it wasn't. I mean, besides those three, it wasn't going to be enough to get it done. You're not going to win a chip with that roster. So I feel like the Nets definitely got better, but that you got to watch out for that Philly starting five too. That Philly starting five is really good too. Can't sleep on them.
Yeah, I think especially with the age, I think the Philly was willing to take the risk because there was a chance that this trade wasn't going to happen and it was going to crawl over to the off season. We're in the off season. I was really confident that I could almost say it was a lock that he was going to come to Philly in the off season, but you don't want to waste another year of MVP Joel. And I think Daryl was worried about wasting a year, especially with his injury history, his body. He doesn't have that many years left. I think it was way better to do this now because you were gonna lose Andre Drummond in the offseason because a team was gonna give him a lot of money. You had to pay Seth a year from now. And with Ben, I'm just happy he's gone, just like every other Sixers fan.
And you couldn't trade Maxey either.
I think that's another thing is that
Maxey.
the Ben Simmons narrative is finally over. Like Philly fans can finally just put that saga to rest.
Yeah,
there was no way you could trade Maxey.
We were never going to trade Maxey. I mean, Daryl Morey came out the gate, pretty much set the tone and said, "Hey, this guy's untouchable. He's a part of our future." I mean,
Yeah,
I think the Houston Rockets really made a big mistake of taking the Nets trade last year when they could have had the Sixers trade. They could have had Ben, Matisse, and Maxey. That was the offer. But, Daryl Morey doesn't have a good relationship with their GM and their organization, especially because he left and came to Philly. So Houston was never going to make that trade with Philly. But, so that trade happened. And the real winner of that Nets and Houston trade was the Cleveland Cavaliers getting a guy like Jared Allen.
Oh, yeah, that was huge.
Oh, definitely.
That was huge, but I do.
And the Avs getting a Karis LeVert too. That was a big time trade for them.
Yeah.
We forgot to touch on that last episode, but that's a big trade.
Rubio.
Oh yeah, Karis LeVert.
Rubio on those two picks. But what Justin said, going back to what Justin said though, hey Justin, if they did do that trade, the Rockets and the Nets, that would have been very interesting because I mean the Rockets are obviously horrible, but if you throw Ben and you keep KPJ and you get Thibault, you got Wood, you got these guys. You couldn't sleep on the Rockets, I feel like.
Oh yeah, they would have had such a bright future.
It would have been all right.
The relationship between Morey and the Rockets was just not good, and they were never gonna help us win a championship.
No, absolutely not.
Wait, quick question. Karis LeVert, what team is he on right now? Just because I know he got traded.
He went to the Cavs.
Okay, so guys, can we just think about this for a quick second? I know I talked about Detroit having a good future, but
the Cavs look great.
The Cavs have Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, and
they're making the right moves.
They still do have Sex
and Colin Sexton. That's what I'm saying. They have Colin Sexton.
They got Sexton.
And remember,
you gonna leave him now?
No, Sexton's not leaving.
I think he does.
I do think he.
I think he does too. I think he leaves.
Dealt in a trade.
Yeah,
I think he leaves too.
Yeah, but let's just think.
Garland is the future, man.
I mean, Sexton's still gonna be no matter what you think.
He's gonna be a dog wherever he
goes. I've always been very, very high.
But it's just
for sure.
The thing about Cleveland and Sexton is Garland needs to have the ball in his hands. That's not going to work with Sexton because Sexton needs the ball in his hands. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they definitely might move on from him. I feel like it's just too much.
But you can't just let Sexton walk. You have to then do a sign and trade type thing.
Yeah, obviously.
You can't.
You're not going to let him walk. Yeah, you're not going to let him walk. But I feel like that's too much. And it's not going to work out in Cleveland's favor because obviously, like I said, Garland needs the ball in his hands. No, Garland can do. And I don't think Sexton is a good, off-ball player to, I don't know if he'll make the right adjustment either. So.
Def. I did want to touch on one, we're not worse me. I mean, I wanted to wrap up NBA trade, and I want to bring up one story, and that is the trades that were not made. Marcellus, I got to put you on the spot. Your Knicks didn't do anything. What are your thoughts?
Oh, please don't get me started on this.
Go ahead.
Wait, Marcellus.
Don't get me started.
Wait. Can I just?
What's up?
Okay, so on Instagram I follow this really heavy Knicks fan, and when I mean he's a really heavy Knicks fan, I mean half of his closet is just Knicks wear. Yep. He literally posted something. It was Knicks didn't make a trade, and then you just swipe right, and it was just the Boogie interview where he was just bro, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That was the funniest shit ever. I'm just yo, this is how Knicks fans really feel right now.
Yeah, you want to know why? Because your suck ass team took who we were supposed to take. We were supposed to get CJ. Everything built up for us to get CJ, man.
That's a shame.
Who did CJ McCollum go to again?
Pelicans. So right now,
I forgot. Sam, you want to talk about that trade for a bit?
Let me talk first.
Go Marcellus, then Sam can talk.
Man. I'm running out of patience with this team. I really am. I've always been a loyal fan with all my New York teams, but these Knicks for a decade now, man, they've just been a laughing stock. They can't do anything right. They can't draft right. They can't trade right. They can't build a team right. But obviously, when you look at that roster, who the hell wants Kemba Walker and Burks and these guys? You know what I mean? The best we were going to get for Burks is probably a second-round pick. I mean, you saw all this stuff going around. We were supposed to get CJ. I really thought we were going to get CJ. I really did think
you weren't going to get CJ. You weren't going to get CJ.
I honestly thought we were. I thought we were.
No,
I thought, and what I was reading was, I thought we were going to get CJ while keeping Randall and RJ. I was reading on that. Now listen, if you can't tell me that if you have a line above McCollum, I don't like Evan, but you put Evan in there, you put RJ, you keep Randall, and you put Mitch. You can't tell me in the Eastern Conference that's not a decent lineup. Can't tell me that.
It's a decent lineup, but this is why I knew that trade was never going to work. The Portland Trailblazers, they're not stupid. They're not just going to give CJ away for a box of cookies, and that's basically what the Knicks were offering. That's
pretty stupid.
I mean, the Knicks had plenty of assets to get a deal done.
We did.
I mean, the Pelicans didn't give up anything crazy.
We didn't give anything crazy, but you have to remember they're still trying to keep Dame because Dame has already said he's not leaving. He's never going to leave. Portland is trying to.
I feel like he will. Something's going to make him leave. He keeps talking all this, but I think he will.
I think he will.
I think he's going to leave.
How many years does he have left for his contract?
I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Here's the thing. I think he's going to leave, but I think the way he's going to leave is KG or someone like that is going to go up to him and be like, my guy, listen, I know you want to be loyal to the soil, but you got to go. You got to get at least one chip. That's probably what's going to happen. One of those type of legends are going to be like, listen, I never wanted to leave, but I had to leave in order to win a championship. That's probably what's going to happen.
Listen, I respect what Dame is doing. This loyalty thing is great. It's great to see. But in the league now, loyalty has been lost. You know what I'm saying? So it's time to move on, man. These guys are loyal. You look at this Trailblazers roster.
I mean, Steph Curry's still loyal.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but look at his team, though. Every reason.
You can say Steph Curry's still loyal. It's easy to be loyal when you're.
If the Warriors suck,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if the Warriors suck, you would have left.
I also think that Portland should consider moving on from Dame themselves.
I think they should because you look at Simons.
If they could get packaged
Simons is playing really well.
Rockets got for James Harden, then you have to consider it.
Listen, though, Simons is playing really well. I like the way he's
stepping up. I don't know if actually as good, but Dame would demand a similar package just to James Harden.
I don't like that Powell and Robert Covington trade they made. I don't like that one bit. I thought that was
it's all about getting money.
No, it's also
with the Blazers.
What the Blazers are doing, they've cleared over. They have in the offseason about potentially $60 million to spend, and they do think they are going to get a big name free agent, which Portland has no history of that, and I don't know what they're thinking. They could do a much better job with it.
They also
It just went mad backwards, bro. They're talking about they want to be building around Dame, but you traded like Dame's go-to guy. It makes no sense at all.
But
Nobody
I
wants to go
honestly,
to Portland. Nobody
I
wants to
think
go
it
to Portland.
is
Let's be real.
the right play for them if they still want to build around Dame, because the team they had, they
It
weren't
is.
winning anything.
They're never
They were barely a playoff
going
But
to
listen,
win.
though,
They're not going to
here's
get
the
free
thing.
agents.
Chris.
And their only chance to win around him was doing something completely new.
Chris, who in the hell wants to go to Portland, man?
No, I
Let's
agree.
be
I
real.
don't think
What
it
the hell is
works
in
out.
Portland?
plus
But
plus
the only
Chris.
chance of success with Dame was doing this.
But
Yeah,
Chris,
absolutely.
but here's another thing though. Like, you have to remember who they were trading away, like Robert Covington and like CJ McCollum. Like, these players, they're not just like scrubs. They're not just like, oh, they're like kind of good but not really good. No, those are the type of players that like you can see them being like the third or like fourth or fifth option for like a championship team.
But you needed that money.
Sam, they traded away Gary Trent for Powell. You see what Gary Trent's doing? Gary Trent
I didn't.
he's
like
not
that.
ass.
Look,
I didn't like
No,
that
the-
trade. And
no,
they
that's
get
what
rid
I'm
of
saying.
Hood,
Like
wasn't
that's
a
what I'm
good
saying.
trade.
Like, they're giving away like very good players for like
They are.
not that good of players. That doesn't make any sense. Like, if they're trying to say like, oh, I'm gonna tank the season and I'm gonna move on from Dame. That's what I'm saying. They should move on from Dame, because if they're gonna tank the season and just start new, just tank the season already so they can get like the first overall pick or like the second overall pick for like
Well, you
maybe
gotta-
this next year or the next 2 years, since we keep
Yeah.
saying the drafts are going to be loaded this year and probably even next year. They're going to be loaded. Try to get these good players, move them in with Simons, and you'll be good to go. Don't just like rely on Dame. Like, even if loyalty is like everything for Dame, I'm sorry, you have to move on from him. Like, I guess
I
it's
agree.
the top. Yeah, like they just have to do something
But
like that.
you also gotta think. They were trying to unload Powell's contract, so I understand why they wanted to move him. They want to unload his contract because they want to offer Simons more money. I mean, they see something in Simons. I think Simons is good.
I think he's a really good player.
I think you have to make the right.
I don't think he
that's
can.
the right move.
Yeah,
That's the right move.
they got to
You can't let him leave.
And
You can't
it
let
just
him
gives them flexibility for the offseason.
It does.
Because
It does.
a group of CJ Powell, Nurkic, Dame, that's not a contender. That's not close to a contender. And they didn't have really a path to becoming a contender with that group. So now just give them a chance to do something.
Who would be a good addition in your opinion? There?
Honestly, I haven't looked ahead at free agency a ton. I mean, I noticed some big names, but it's like Justin mentioned, and like, are they really gonna be able to sign somebody? Like, I don't think so. But I mean, that's their goal. Maybe Dame can convince a couple guys to leave to Portland, and then
what about Brad Beal?
No, he's not going to go.
Bradley Beal's
good.
Like,
Bradley Beal's
Bradley
Beal's
saying,
been
what
looking.
if he went there? What if he went there? Would that make him a little better?
That would make him better, but I want to make him a championship.
but like they're looking for a guy like
not.
if they get a guy like that, you could spend the other money on good role players. Like you figure it out.
I would take the risk on Beal.
But here's the thing: would Beal rather go to Portland, which we've never even heard Beal wanting to go to Portland, or would he go to the Brooklyn Nets, which we've heard a lot about Bradley Beal going to the Brooklyn Nets? Not even just like this season, in past seasons, when people were like, "Oh, maybe we can pair Bradley Beal with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant." Like,
I don't know if that trade would work.
Well, Bradley Beal really
yeah.
has a very, very good relationship with Jason Tatum, and they've talked about in the past of teaming up together. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, they're both from St. Louis.
I wouldn't be surprised
of
a Bradley Beal move to the Celtics.
The Celtics would be my guess.
Yeah, I think the Celtics will be better if they get Beal. Wait, but can we talk about the dumbest trade of the deadline? I strongly believe that it was the KP trade. Dumbest trade ever.
Yeah, I didn't.
That trade is so.
Like
that was just
dumb.
so funny.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
I don't. Because I like Brunson a lot.
I love Brunson, and you gotta. This is the guy that you gotta sign. They have all the.
A lot of people think they aren't going to pay him. From what I've read, I don't agree.
I'm paying him over Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm paying him over Spencer Dinwiddie 100%. No question.
Here's the thing. with this trade, it's like Spencer Dinwiddie. I've been a Spencer Dinwiddie fan. I love what he does. That's literally all you got. Like I get who's the other guy they got?
Bertans. Bertans and Dinwiddie are both.
Bertans
don't get me wrong.
nice,
Spencer Dinwiddie and Bertans are like really good, but Porzingis is like when he's a good player, he's like an all-star caliber player. And then Brunson has such a bright future.
Yeah.
But I get he gets hurt too much.
I love it from the Wizards' perspective. They got off 2 contracts that they view as bad.
Yeah. But I wasn't so high.
They made, and
I wasn't so high on Spencer. I wasn't so high on Spencer, man. He had that one good year with the Nets. You know, he got hurt. And ever since that injury, he just never looked the same.
Yeah.
You can tell by the way he plays. He's not.
I think he's a good.
But it's also
he's a good backup guard.
No, that's what I'm saying.
The Mavs didn't need that.
That's what I'm saying.
The Mavs didn't need that though.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like a bad trade for the Mavs because like here's the thing: Spencer Dinwiddie. It's like if Spencer Dinwiddie is coming off your bench, you have a really good bench. If Spencer Dinwiddie is starting, that's a problem. It's like the same thing with Jamal Crawford. It's like Jamal Crawford when he comes off your bench, he's amazing. But when Jamal Crawford starts, he's just like, okay, he's a good starter, but he's nothing like special. Jalen Brunson and Kristaps Porzingis, those 2 guys were special. When Kristaps Porzingis is healthy, he's a really good player. Jalen Brunson, he's on the rise. We all see he's on the rise. He's not going to be like this star or superstar caliber player, but he's going to be like an all-star caliber player. Like he's going to be one of those people that like make 2 or 3 all-stars like here and there. So the Wizards, I feel like, won this trade massively because now they have Jalen Brunson, and then they also have Kyle Kuzma, who's starting to actually bloom since he's off the Lakers. All you need is Kristaps Porzingis, which is heavens. Like this is like a Hail Mary. You have to pray to the gods for this. If Kristaps Porzingis does stays healthy for longer periods of time with Kuzma and Brunson, this Wizards team could be a very big like dark horse in the future.
All right, guys, are we done like talking NBA trade deadline?
Yeah.
No, not yet. I didn't talk about my Pelicans yet.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Sam. We're over an hour talking about this one segment.
No, we're
go
done.
Ahead.
Adam, we're done. Don't let him talk about those.
Let him go for a couple minutes. That wasn't done.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Sam.
So where do I start? So first we got CJ McCollum, and we have Brandon Ingram. We have Zion Williamson, who, when he comes back and when he's like in shape, that lineup's going to be deadly. And then on top of that, we have Jonas Valanciunas, who I even said when that trade was happening, that was an amazing trade for us because we got rid of Steven Adams, who was kind of a good center, but then we got rid of Eric Bledsoe, who I didn't believe in. Like when we got Eric Bledsoe for Drew Holiday, I said that was one of the worst trades Pelicans could have ever done because we gave away a point guard that can score 20 points a night for a point guard who can score 9 points a night. Like I said, that was a terrible trade. So the fact that we got CJ McCollum, especially for what we did, like we gave Portland not bad players, but definitely nothing worthwhile for any other team, which is why I'm saying like the Trailblazers are basically tanking. We got CJ McCollum basically for free, and then you add Brandon Ingram to the mix. I'm excited for the Pelicans right now. I haven't been excited for a long time, but like I am ready for this. Like CJ, especially if he stays with the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram stays with the Pelicans. Like this core is good. The only thing we really need is a point guard right now because I believe. No, he's not bad, but like, I mean, yeah, he's not bad, but I mean, like, I would rather someone like be a little bit better, not like all-star level.
What about Brunson?
Someone like Brunson. If we can get someone,
I think he'd be a good fit.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If we can get someone like Brunson to the Pelicans, I feel like we will be set. Then we just need role players to fit on the bench, and we'll be like not title contenders, but we'll be like dark horses. We'll be like the 4th or 5th seed that like you see actually maybe sneaking a championship.
Wait until Zion gets back too.
That's what I'm saying. When Zion gets back with CJ and Brandon Ingram and Jonas Valanciunas, who's been killing it this year. Oh my goodness. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this Pelicans team.
You're hyped, Sam, right? You're hyped?
Yes, because this is the first time we've actually made a trade that, like, benefits our number one overall pick instead of detrimenting it. The only time we ever did this was DeMarcus Cousins, and DeMarcus Cousins decided to tear his Achilles. So
let's see how it goes first, Sarah.
Yeah,
let's not get too overhyped.
I still don't know how much I love the fit for that lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I wouldn't get too overhyped, Sam.
Fit.
I wouldn't get too overhyped
like,
because
he shot 6 for 21 tonight, Sam. CJ.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing, Sam. You talk about the Pelicans adding like CJ McCollum to help their number one overall pick, Zion Wilson. Those offseasons got Dougie Howells to help their number one overall pick, and they still suck. So
no, but here's the thing that you guys got to remember. See, unlike the other players, like the one you were saying, they're used to being like the star players or like, the players that get a lot of shots up or this or that. CJ is used to being the number 2 option. He's used to being like below someone. So if they put him in a role where it's like, okay, you're below Brandon Ingram, I'm fine with that. And some of you may say, okay, what about Zion Williamson? Zion Williamson most likely isn't going to get in the way of CJ because Zion Williamson is mostly just a dunker. He mostly just gets the rebound and dunks the ball or gets an alley-oop, like something like that. And CJ doesn't mind doing that. Like CJ's passing skills aren't that bad. They're not like amazing, but they're like above average. They're like, he has good passing skills. Combine that with Brandon Ingram's shooting and skill that he's been developing that we've been seeing, because Brandon Ingram's grown a lot. No one's talking enough about how much Brandon Ingram has actually grown. Like, he's now a star in this league, in my opinion. It's just, it will be a good fit. They'll just need to gel first. It's like the Warriors. Kevin Durant was a good fit for the Warriors, but they first needed to like gel and realize how they're going to move the ball around. That's what I feel like it could be. I
like the McCollum fit. That's not the issue, I don't think.
Oh, what's the issue for you?
I don't think Valanciunas and Zion work. They don't fit. Valanciunas, I don't think fits.
Yeah, no, they definitely don't fit. They definitely don't fit.
Because that's kind of big reason the Grizzlies got a lot better after trading Valanciunas.
You see how that went with Steven Adams.
Yeah, because Adams is so good for the Grizzlies. Like he's
doing great for the Grizzlies.
No, yeah, but that's just because Morant with those hard picks, like Steven Adams set some hard picks. Combine that with Morant, it's like your big man is always going to have to switch to Morant, and then Morant's just going to blow by your big man.
Yeah, but it's also like,
Valanciunas
just demands the ball. Valanciunas has to have the ball in his hands.
Yeah, they're going to both like be stuck in that paint,
bro. It's just a lot of touches. That
space is not going to be that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the one.
But I mean, you have a lot of good players. You just roll with it, and then you tinker with the roster as you move forward.
Yeah, and if we need to, we can trade Valanciunas for like a really good like spacer if we need to. The only problem is we just need a center, and that's the problem. Jonas Valanciunas fits that center role that we really need. So it's like we could maybe run a small lineup with Zion, but that I'm not comfortable running something like that. No. I'm really not comfortable with running something like that.
Definitely not for extended minutes.
All right. Okay. Now let's move on.
All right, guys. All right. But Justin, we thank you so much for coming on. It's great to talk NBA, talk Sixers with you. Talk Sixers with you. So,
I thank you guys. I thank you guys for letting me on. Let me come talk some basketball. I really appreciate it.
Definitely. But before you go, just where can all listeners find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Sixers Justin. That's where I am most of my time, and I tweet mostly about basketball. So
okay, gotcha. But Justin, we thank you we thank you so much for coming on, and You're welcome back up on anytime. Don't be a stranger, bud.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Justin.
Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Justin Todd of Philly Sports Center. Great to have him on and great to talk all this NBA trade deadline madness. So Michael's not back yet. We're gonna give him a couple minutes to get back. But for now, we gotta move on to yet another edition of Alex's Winter Olympics storylines. Alex, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll be starting off with alpine skiing. Johannes Strohs captured the gold in the men's alpine combine event. For cross-country skiing, Therese Yahug, I think that's how you pronounce it. She's from Norway, and she won the women's 10 km classic event. Nathan Chen brought home the gold for the United States in the men's singles skating event. Team USA also won the mixed team aerials event for freestyle skiing. And speed skating, Irene Schouten of Netherlands captured her second gold of the games in the women's 5,000 meter event. And also the men's hockey team for USA started their journey this morning, and they beat China 8-0, which was a really awesome start to the journey of the Winter Olympics for them. And I forget when they play again, but I'm not sure if you know, Adam.
Yeah.
But I think they play either Saturday or Sunday. I think I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure.
I'm not sure when they play again, but they play against Canada, right?
They play China.
No. I know they play China, but who do they play next?
Oh,
I believe because I believe the men's team they play. I believe they play. I believe they. Let me check. I believe they play Canada, but I'm not sure. But you could continue with them. But you could continue, Alex.
So, here I'm just trying to find it. Once I know who they will be playing next, I will definitely let you all know off air. And I think that this American team for men's is a very interesting team to watch out for.
I got here. They play Canada on Saturday at 10 p.m.
Oh, that's going to be a tough game.
Preliminaries.
That's going to be a tough game.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's gonna be hard. Canada's kind of similar to USA and men's basketball. It's kind of similar to that.
Yeah, it's just
it's not as dominant. It's not as dominant, I would say, because USA does manage to put up at least somewhat of a fight, but typically Canada's the favorite every year.
Well, I mean, what's it called? The USA just beat China 8-0, so I don't think we can really count them out.
Exactly.
Adam, right now is the USA game for women.
I know the USA women's are playing right now. They're playing Czech Republic, right?
Yep. It's 0-0 in the first period.
What channel is that on?
The USA Network.
Okay, I'm probably gonna put it on in the background. I mean, obviously I have it muted, but why not? Also, I did what? Did you hear about that one Russian athlete that that tested positive for a banned substance?
Of course. I'm not surprised at this point. They get caught at least once a year. One of them.
Did they have a whole big cheating scandal? They had a whole big cheating scandal too. I mean,
it's just you fool me once, shame on me twice, shame on me.
Oh, how convenient! We got breaking news right
They're
now.
most likely going to do it again, if they're saying.
We got breaking news right now. Hold on, Alex. We got breaking news right now. How convenient! The IOC is appealing to reinstate the skier Russia skier Kamila Valieva, I believe is how I pronounce her last name, after suspension for a banned substance. Sorry, continue, Alex.
Okay, so the drug is called traumatizing, which is a similar properties normally used to treat angina or chest pain due to reduced blood flow to the heart. It is not approved for the U.S. It is not approved for use in the United States. And it says what has been said on Wednesday, the International Olympic Committee said that a need for legal consideration had caused the postponement of the team medal ceremony. You can bet your bottom dollar we are doing everything that this situation can be resolved as soon as possible. IOC spokesman Mark Adams told the media, "I cannot give you more details, but we will do our best to our utmost." The one who committed the drug problem, I think that it's going to be a very interesting story in the coming days to find out if she will be able to rejoin or she'll be not able to.
It's definitely like very interesting. So apparently it was correct me if I'm wrong, it was like kind of like a substance to help you like recover from injury. Is that correct?
It has to do with like the heart and chest.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. I don't know if I read somewhere so that was something else, but if it was for that, like the end of the day, it's still cheating. Like you still broke the rules.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she will be kicked out and not be able to come back.
At least for this Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, in the bottom line of it, she could just get a fine or something. But I think it's best for them to just kick her out for the rest of the Olympics and just use it as a lesson to not do again in the coming years.
Definitely. I actually have anything else for your Olympic storylines?
Nothing really.
Yeah.
There's been a ton of events, but I'm definitely looking forward to the next segment of Alex's Winter Olympic takes.
Yeah, a lot of people I know a lot of people that give the Olympics crap because there's always so much drama and corruption with it, and I do agree. But at the end of the day, like they're still on the watch. Like we could play a lot about like the corrupt, like for example, like we could play a lot of this podcast about some of the corrupt business practices of the NFL. We could play about it all the time, but yeah, they proc stuff on the watch. So at the end of the day, people are still going to tune in and have a good time. So I think it's a similar situation here. So, but Alex, great job, and we definitely look forward to the next segment of Alex's Winter Olympic storylines. All right, guys, we gotta move on. He's joined the show late today because he just got done with the basketball game, but we do appreciate him. Not even though he's tired and worn out from the basketball game, but we appreciate him coming on to do his hot take. It's time for the segment of the show that is like mushrooms and bananas. Mike's hot take Mike, can you take it away?
Hey, wait. Before you start, quick question. Is mushrooms and bananas an actual thing?
I don't know. I just made them. I thought something from Mario Kart, all right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, for a second I was like, wait, if that's a thing, I may gotta try that. Okay, Mike, I'm warning you right now. This better be a good hot take because we spent an hour and a half talking about the NBA trade deadline.
My hot take is about you're going to like this. Kevin Durant hating James Harden now because of what happened with the Nets. It's pretty awesome. Yo, I was watching the All-Star draft from home, watching it before my game. How the hell does they leave James Harden on the board like that? Kevin Durant is petty as hell. Here's the thing I got to say from Katie's point of view. You said, I want James Harden to be on my team. And you get him here to the Nets, and you guys get rid of valuable pieces. Adam's boyfriend, and Jared Allen, by the way. Because Adam be having fantasies about Jared Allen, but that's for a different show. For Adam, the show for the confused boys.
Politely denied, but go ahead.
I believe that James Harden is a cancer for every team he goes for. We all agree that James Harden is a cancer for every team. He goes to Houston. He has great years. He doesn't have a good year in Houston that last year. He kills them. And then, like, when the Nets were playing against the Bucks, that game 7, he disappeared on the Nets. He has no loyalty to any basketball team. Alex, let me say I'm a Cancer. Smack. That is my zodiac sign, so fuck you, Alex. But
There's a compliment.
Wearing that tight ass jersey, he's trying to be like you're 12. Wearing that tight ass jersey. You know you stole that jersey from your mama's house.
Excuse me, sir. Hop on stop eating that crap and get on the treadmill.
No, first of all, I'm surprised you found your hammer.
Mike, just continue with the hot take.
No, I'm gonna roast him before I continue my hot take.
How do I?
First of all, we don't know Chris got the man titties, but we're gonna talk about that. And look at Alex, Chucky Black.
My vote's no. I'm watching basketball. If he's just gonna insult me for no reason.
This hot take is automatic decline.
Okay, this is
y'all just being some haters. So y'all just being some haters.
I kind of agree with Michael because with James Harden, a lot of people like you can blame like Kyrie Irving for like for other people have been blaming Kyrie Irving like for James Harden's project. I'm not saying like Kyrie Irving like doesn't have some like responsibility because of like his not getting the vaccine, not being able to play home games. But at the end of the day, James Harden quit on the Nets.
He gave up. That's why I think he's a cancer for the team.
The guy, James Harden ultimately quit on that. So that's invested so much in him. They invested like so many for some big edge two of their young all-stars in them, and he just ultimately bailed on them. I was listening to Evan Roberts like on WFAN, like Carter Roberts, and he brought up a great point. Us Nets fan, Michael, you know Darren Williams, right? Yeah. Us Nets fans, we don't like Darren Williams. What James Harden did, James Harden's reputation among Nets fans is 10 times worse than what James Harden did. I mean, Darren Williams. Because James Harden, like, he also quit on a team. Darren Williams, like never actually quit on a net, so at least not the way James Harden did. So, Mike, I do agree with your point there.
Here's the thing about Harden. He's a top 15 player in the league. We all could agree to that.
Top 10.
Top 10, top 15 player in the league. The best isolation dribbler in the league. The best isolation player of all time. We all agree to that right now in the league.
I would debate Kyrie because Kyrie with the isolation, he's nasty.
Well, all right, we all could agree it's either between Harden and Kyrie. We can all agree to that.
Yes, I agree with that.
Here's the thing, Harden. Here's what I'm saying. Now you add Ben Simmons to the mix. Here's the thing I'm worried about. You get Kyrie Irving on road games. And you have Ben Simmons, and you have Seth Curry, and you have coming back KD. Do I think you put Ben Simmons at his true position, Chris and Sam and Marcellus and Alex, you could all agree this. His true position is the power forward position, not a point guard. We all could agree to that. That's his true position.
Yeah, more or less. I could agree with that, yeah.
He's kind of like
you
a
believe
point
that he's a power
forward.
forward.
He's kind of like a
Positions
point
are irrelevant.
forward.
In basketball.
He's more like a power forward than a point
They have Kyrie to handle the ball and
Yeah, he's more of a power forward. That's his true position.
But he's better with the ball in his hands too. So like I hate to position talk. Like
I agree.
It's
I
just
agree.
basketball.
Here's the thing. This is how they should probably use him. They should do it where it's like he controls the offense in terms of passing, because if he has options like KD or Kyrie spreading the floor, then he can use his true potential of like his inside game. Because we all know like anything 15 and above, he's not making. Like 12 feet and above, he's not making. But anything below 12 feet, that's his range. If he's like getting Kyrie and Kevin Durant to spread out the floor like that, that's going to be deadly, because now you have to worry about the outside threat, but then you also have to worry about the inside threat of Ben Simmons.
All right.
So it's going to be interesting.
I got a question for all you guys. Cousin, I got a question for you too. Do you guys think, this is a question for all you guys, do you guys think Ben Simmons is going to lead this team as part of the big three, or is it still going to be the big two with Kyrie and KD, or Ben Simmons is their big three? I don't consider him part of the big
It's
three.
a big three.
I think Simmons kind of
I say big 2.5.
I say it 2.5.
I think Simmons completes some.
Ben Simmons is as good as one of the best top three third options in the league. I would need to think more, but I mean,
he's perfect as a third option.
Yeah.
He's
But
perfect
listen,
as a third
here's the
option.
He is a terrible second option.
This is no disrespect to him, but if Kevin Love can be considered like the third member of a big three between Kyrie and LeBron, I think Ben Simmons can definitely be considered a member of a big three between
you're bringing Ben in
KD,
to provide
Kyrie,
defense.
and Simmons.
Listen, you're bringing Ben in to provide defense and elite playmaking. That's it. You know you're not getting that much scoring out of Ben. You could. We're talking about a guy that can't even make foul shots.
Marcellus, here's my problem with that. You have to remember another reason why he didn't work in Philly was because his game was an inside game. And your best player, Joel Embiid, his best work is done inside. So now Ben Simmons can't use the paint to his like full advantage like he can with the Nets, because he's worried about Joel Embiid. Because I'm letting you know, Joel Embiid's big butt, his big ass cannot move from outside the paint, because we all know what happens when Joel Embiid gets inside the paint, especially against someone smaller. That shit's barbecue chicken, just like Shaq. Barbecue chicken.
So Ben's gonna become a shooter now, is what you're telling me?
No, he's gonna become an inside threat, because now that he's working with KD, who's a shooter, Kyrie,
KD
who's
is not a shooter, Sam. Let's just say the record.
What?
KD?
Wait,
KD's still
a good shooter.
Wait, did you say KD's not a shooter?
He's not he's an in-game
okay.
shooter.
I'm out.
No, Adam, Mike, you did. I don't like how you word that. He's a shooter.
He's not a.
No, I knew you're not wrong, but
he's not a 3-point shooter. He's not a 3-point shootout type of shooter. He's an in-game shooter.
Yeah, he's just a scorer. You're not wrong, but
he's not. That's not only his game. He's a scorer. Adam.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's just I want to say he's not a shooter.
He's not a shooter, just a shooter, Adam. That's not just his game.
You forgot the word just. You forgot the word
shooter. That's fine.
You forgot.
I would think
that's a key word to that
if I was putting, I won't put KD in the 3-point shootout with the best 3-point shooters in the league.
He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. I would say.
I want to he's not. I want to put him in that.
I'm not putting him in a 3-point shootout. Let's be realistic, Adam. You're telling me you would put KD in a 3-point shootout?
He's close. He's close. He's
would you put? It's my
three.
question. Would you put KD in a 3-point shootout? Don't beat around the bush. Just answer
you mean a 3-point contest?
Would you put him in it?
I put him in it.
Then you're bugging.
Who's he going against?
Like every best 3-point. Who's a great 3-point against? You got TJ McCollum.
Michael. You know what? Do you know what KD? I mean, this year he shot. He's shooting 37. I mean, he's shooting 37% free, which is solid, which is impressive. You know what he shot the year before that? You know what KD shot from 3 the year before that? He shot 45% from 3.
That doesn't make you. Here's the thing: you could be a 3-point shootout in a game, but you can't do it in the All-Star weekend. That's a different thing. You could be the best dunker in the NBA. That doesn't make
just
you
because
an all-star game dunker.
all right, so,
Mike,
That's a great.
I'm
Mike,
trying to understand your
Adam,
point.
You put his thing. Kevin Durant
everyone
was in the three-point shootout a few years ago.
Shut up. Okay, thank you.
Boy, I'll smack the shit out of you. You better get your damn point.
Mike, you said he's a good in-game shooter, correct?
Yeah.
So when I said Ben Simmons in-game is going to have an easier time getting Kevin Durant in-game shots because Kevin Durant is an in-game shooter. What did I not make clear? I'm not talking about Kevin Durant making a three-point shooter.
I'm agreeing with Adam said. Adam said he's the best is a great three-point shooter. That's the
okay.
But also, it's not like Kevin Durant and Kyrie are just gonna play off ball. The ball's still gonna be.
All ball.
They're still gonna have the ball more than Ben Simmons.
Well,
his offense is going through those two.
No, I'm obviously they're gonna have the ball more than Ben Simmons, but I'm saying Ben Simmons is gonna be way more of a threat now than he was with the Sixers. And the Sixers, he couldn't use the paint. Now he can use the paint to his full advantage.
No, but it'll be interesting though, because I mean, it's not like they're gonna play him and KD at the 4 and 5 much, so they're gonna have two guys who can't shoot most of the time.
No, you have to remember they also have Blake Griffin that they can play at the 4, and Blake Griffin, he can shoot the 3 a little bit, but he can also shoot the mid range, which still leaves the paint open for Ben Simmons.
Here's like I asked you, Sam. If they go small ball lineup, where they put in Ben Simmons and Blake Griffin and KD, because they may do that for small ball.
I don't even call that small ball.
That's not small ball. Kevin Durant's 7 feet tall. Ben Simmons is 7 feet tall, and Blake Griffin's 6'11".
Yeah, Blake's playing the 5. Yeah.
Blake's playing the 5.
Yeah,
but Kevin Durant, we all know he's 7 foot, but he's listed as 9. So you can go with KD at the 5 and Blake at the 4. Technically, you could do that.
You can also put Ben Simmons at the 5. Ben Simmons
you're not doing that though. They got Drummond. Not putting him at the 5.
First of all, they're not going to start. If they go a small ball, I mean, brother, small ball. Because here's the thing.
They have options. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you start Drummond?
I'm not saying they start in Drummond. I'm just saying that they go small ball. They're obviously going to start Drummond for size.
I hope they start Claxton.
Yeah.
Claxton is the best.
Yeah, they would start Claxton. He's the best center.
I'm a Claxton fan, but Claxton's going to start.
You said he's the best center
on their team. On the team.
No, he's not.
I like
Aldridge over Claxton.
I like Aldridge better.
But I like Aldridge's true position is the 4. I don't know why they put him at the 5.
Claxton's okay. He's okay.
All right.
I'm not really that sold on him yet.
Go ahead.
Adam, what would be the next project starting 5?
I think you have Kyrie, Kyrie. I think you have Seth Curry, KD, obviously. Then you got Ben Simmons at the 4, and you put one of LaMarcus Aldridge or Nick Claxton at the 5.
But here's the thing I don't get. The reason why the Sixers didn't do well, you put Ben Simmons, who's not a point guard. We all can agree he's not a point guard. That's not his true position. And Alex, you agree with that? You even told me that Ben Simmons is not a true point guard. Do you think he's not a true point guard?
I mean, it's tough to say because
how's it tough to say? But go on.
I mean, he has that capability of the small game by dominating offensively, but doesn't have the shot to get the buckets that the team needs.
First of all, Ben Simmons.
It's not even that he doesn't have a shot. I'm sorry for cutting you off, Mike, but it's not even that he doesn't have a shot. He has a shot. He's just too much of a pussy to take the shot because he doesn't have enough confidence. That's the problem with him. He just needs confidence.
You're making $1 million. You're making $1 million a year. You better have confidence to shoot the damn basketball. Now, let's be realistic.
I think his confidence has officially came back as of today, moving on to Brooklyn and being with Steve Nash and the organization.
But here's the thing, Alex. Here's the thing, Alex. You're playing in Brooklyn, in New York. New York is deadly when it comes to their players. They will have him. That's just like going from bad to worse. He thought Philly was
Brooklyn's
bad.
not worse fan base.
Imagine what New York fans.
Brooklyn's not. It's not fan base of Philly.
Philly's the worst, bro. The Nets aren't the Knicks either.
New York
it's not the same.
Worse. We
No,
are
That's not a fan
stop
base,
it.
but they're not
Brooklyn.
nearly. They're not.
We are
No.
They're not
fucking
nearly.
Brooklyn.
Philly's the
Name
worst,
sucks
bro.
as
Stop
Philly.
it.
New York is
Stop it,
worse.
Michael.
Sam, come back. We need your hot take to
Sam, you made Sam leave. You made Sam
New York is
leave.
ruthless. New York
I need to plug my
fans are
New
ruthless.
York is.
I'm just gonna let my
not as
computer die.
ruthless
I
as
can't
Philly. Sam, go ahead.
Okay. Wait. Okay. So I'm okay.
Oh yeah, Sam, your hot take. We all
Okay.
disappointed.
Okay.
My hot take's been
I-
done a long time ago. My hot take was done a long time ago.
Is there
Don't
your hot
need
take
to vote,
stun?
We
It
don't
was
need to
been
vote.
done like 10 minutes ago. The fuck?
Okay.
All right. So you guys compared to my hot take. My hot take's very simple, but it's actually a very good hot take. It's a very
All
interesting
right,
question.
make it fast, Sam. Go ahead.
So Ben Simmons moving to the Nets, I believe, is probably one of the best things to ever happen in his career, and I think he's going to start taking off to the point where I believe, and this is my hot take, Ben Simmons is going to be better for the Nets than James Harden would be for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Ooh.
That is no, I can't see that. I'm sorry, I just can't see it.
Okay, so hear me out. Ben Simmons, like I said, he's going to have a lot more space to work. Plus, the key thing Nets were missing was defense. And this guy we know can play defense 1 through 5. He can guard every position. He can guard anyone in the league. He's one of few people that maybe can even guard like Giannis. So, and that was, the Nets' main problem. How they're going to stop Giannis? Well, now they have not just one person, but they have 2 people to stop Giannis. So I feel like Ben Simmons is going to have a lot more work. He's going to have a lot more confidence. James Harden, obviously James Harden is going to be James Harden. Like he's a top 10 player in this league. But I feel like the combination of him and Embiid, it's just too much of a risk factor. Just for the shoe. Just
Here's the
because.
thing I got to say, though. I'm sorry to cut you off, buddy. I think it's just like how Embiid needs a second option that can score a true option to help him score. Because Tobias Harris ain't going to give him help. Now he has another scorer that if Embiid is getting double team and needs somebody to take it over, he got Harden to take over the game. And we all know Harden could score at least 25, 30 easy in his sleep. Now you got a second person to rely on. Like he had now he has like a Butler player, but a better Butler player, like Jimmy Butler.
Here's also my issue. Another reason why I think James Harden's not going to do as well as Ben Simmons is just because of the pieces around him. Don't get me wrong. Maxey and Tybalt, they're amazing. Tybalt's obviously amazing. Maxey's obviously amazing. I'm not a huge believer in Tobias Harris, especially because in the playoffs, he was a third option and he choked. He didn't choke as bad, obviously, as Ben Simmons. We all know Ben Simmons was just
dog shit.
He was worse than dog shit. But Tobias Harris disappeared as well. Like their second best player was Seth Curry. Like it was Joel Embiid, and then it was like Seth Curry or the other guy that's not even starting. Like, and the starting lineup, it's a good starting lineup, but I feel like Tybalt and especially Maxey, they're just still too young for my taste, especially when they're versing like people like the Bucks who have Giannis and Middleton and Holiday, and now get Serge Ibaka on top of that, and have Brook Lopez. The Nets, where they have KD, Kyrie. Now they have Ben Simmons and Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. They have Marcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin. The Bulls, when they have like Lonzo Ball, when they have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, like you see where I'm getting at?
Yeah,
like,
I see what you mean.
These teams, they're not like regular teams where they're like, oh, okay, they have like a bunch of great players. They have like superstar type talent. They have talent and they're all like veterans. They're all like know how the playoffs are run and how we've seen them all perform amazing in the playoffs. The only player on that team, other than James Harden, that I've seen perform in the playoffs for the Sixers is Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's the only one that's proven to me, like, yeah, he's playoff ready. And James Harden, even at times in the playoffs, has disappeared. Like in 2007, I think it was like 17. It wasn't with Chris Paul, or it was like one of the years with Chris Paul when he lost Chris Paul, and it was just James Harden, but he still had a good team. He went 2 for so that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like Ben Simmons is going to benefit more than James Harden. Like the Nets are going to benefit more.
I have a question for you, Sam. I got a big question for you, Money Sam.
All right, one question. Then we gotta go
Ben
to
Simmons,
approval or disapproval.
do you think Ben Simmons is going to stay for 1 year, like sign the contract, or leaves right after the season?
I think it really just depends. I think it really just depends on what these next 10 to 15 games are going to look like. I'm not just going to say immediately right now he'll stay. This is what I will say. If he feels really comfortable, if he feels like this place is a good place for him to grow, and he feels like this place is like a good starting point for him, then yes, he will stay. And
just for the record, Sam, just for the record, Ben Simmons does not become a free agent until 2025.
But here's the thing: he get asked to be traded, or he get asked to become an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. They're allowed to do that.
Here's the thing: I don't think he's going to do that.
He's not going to do that. I'd be shocked if he does that.
But some players do that, though. I'm just saying.
Not with 4 years left in their contract.
Not with the 4 years left in his contract.
The Heat.
Player option.
LeBron didn't do it with the Heat.
Yeah, he did it when he left the Heat to go to Cleveland.
Yeah,
that's because he had a player option. He was a free agent.
That's the last year of their deal. That's not the beginning of it.
If he has a player option of his deal, but that's just a different story.
Yeah, but like that would be the last season of his deal. Not
plus here's the thing. I don't think Ben Simmons wants to create those waves again because it's like he has the scapegoat with Philly. Like, okay, Philly wasn't treating him right. He wasn't in the right mindset. Joel Embiid and him were just a terrible fit. If he does this with the Nets, that's all on him because now you just went from Joel Embiid clogging up the lane to you have a free lane and you got shooters. So what excuse do you have now? He doesn't fit in with the Nets. He does bad with the Nets. I'm telling y'all, he's probably not going to be an all-star for the rest of his career. He might not be an all-star for the rest of his career because then people are going to look at him and realize, yeah, it's not anyone else's fault but his. He is the liability.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The only reason why he became an all-star is because he had Joel Embiid. That's the main reason we could agree to that.
So, what do y'all think?
Tonight, I want you to deny that.
All right.
Okay, so are we voting on Mike's and?
Well, we're gonna vote. We're gonna vote on both Mike's and Sam's, and because I was just gonna do approve or disapprove. We're not gonna do any elaboration. So,
Adam, I don't care about my hot take.
All right, from Michael, I'm gonna approve his. Like, even though I got mad at some of his points, I ultimately agreed at the end. So I'm gonna approve that.
I'm gonna be the last one. So you three.
I'm Adam, you saw me do my Black History.
I'm not
tape?
approving Mike's. Mike's is
Chris secretly. Chris already knows Chris.
It's not getting approved. It just wasn't good. You started good. You had the fun topic you started with talking about the All-Star draft because that was funny. I watched it too, but you veered off it and just started talking smack on everybody. And just hate.
I didn't talk smack on you. You caught disrespecting me, so I had to get.
No, you had a fun topic to start, and you just veered off. Sorry for that.
All right, go ahead, Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
No. Okay, so Alex, what's yours for Mike?
Yo, I was going to say something. Alex, you disrespected me, so I had to get a little revenge.
Go ahead, Alex.
I strongly disagree.
Because the only reason why Alex disagreed because he's kissing Chris's ass, but that's a different story.
Sam, go ahead.
Wait.
Marcellus.
I got something real quick.
Yeah.
How the hell do you not call KD a shooter?
He's not.
Marcellus.
All right, that's it. I'm switching to disapprove.
Yo.
No.
Okay, so Marcellus.
You can't change it. You already voted.
Sam, go ahead. Sam, go. Disapprove.
I disapprove. I'm sorry.
Unanimous
Adam,
disapproval.
you can't change your vote because that's bullshit. I can change it. You can't change your vote. Don't be a bitch.
Alex did the other episode.
No, Adam, don't be a bitch. You be real.
All right, fine. I won't say it. But regardless, all right, I'll keep mine as yes. But regardless, you have to take it disapproved and for whatever your record is. Like,
all right.
now we're gonna vote on Sam, and you know what? Sam, I'm going to approve yours as well.
No,
Sam, I'm gonna
Adam,
approve
that's
yours
some
as
biased
well.
bullshit. We ain't gonna talk about that.
I'm going to approve Sam's as well. I thought I brought up a lot of great. I'm not sure if I don't think that's a last mistake. I think in terms of fit and like with Ben Simmons playing like with KD and Kyrie, like to him having more success than James Harden, I don't think it's a last mistake. And as a Nets fan, maybe I'm a little biased here, but I like it, so I'm going to prove it.
Yeah, you're extremely biased.
All right, so Alex, you go next. You can obviously disapprove.
I can definitely agree with you.
No, Alex is doing that because he's mad at me. That's the real
Alex
reason why he
agrees?
disapproved.
Wait, you're approving or disapproving?
Approve.
You approving that? Dang. I'm on the fence, but you made some good points. So I'll approve, but I don't know if I agree with the take because I'm right on the fence. But you made some good points and stuff, so I'll approve the hot.
Well, that's some bullshit, Negroes. Fuck you all.
Marcellus?
Yep.
Marcellus?
I know where you live, Marcellus. Be
I
careful what you
disapprove.
say.
Oh, Marcellus disapproved.
Ooh, okay.
Michael, you have the
Okay,
last
Mike,
vote.
go.
Yeah, I agree with Sam. I'm not petty. I agree. That was good. That was a good.
All right, so Sam wins, but
thank you.
Michael doesn't.
No, I'm not petty. That's the thing. You know, Sam had a great hot take. Only thing I disagreed was how Ben Simmons is a better fit than Harden, but that's the only thing I disagree with.
All right. Really quickly here, Michael, you want to do a Black History and Sports segment, or do you want since we're running solo time, do you want to skip it for this one? If you want, it's your choice.
I'll do it. I'm ready.
All right, go
ready.
ahead.
Here's the thing, I believe. How we all could agree back in the 1960s and the early 70s, they had the NBA versus the ABA. I'm saying, let me ask you guys a question. Who has heard of the ABA? Anybody?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
That's our two-time
Mel-
NBA ABA champions. Of course, I've had heard of it.
I've
Adam,
also heard of like there's also like I've heard of like Mel Daniels. Mel Daniels was amazing in the ABA.
Mel Daniels is probably the greatest basketball player to ever live, in my opinion. I'm sorry, he was better than Jordan. I'm sorry.
There was also this guy named I forgot. It was like Reggie Miller's like mentor as well. He mentioned.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the ABA had more African American players. I'm telling you guys this: if the ABA played against the NBA now, I think the ABA was better than the NBA because they had more black players. And let's just face it: in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, the NBA was racist. The face of the NBA was Bob Cousy. They fucked over Bill Russell. This is why I don't like Boston, because I'm a fellow black man. Marcellus is a fellow black man. You guys, and I think 4 of you guys watch Black Support BLM. And to our viewers, this is a Black Lives Matter support podcast. We don't do racism here.
Facts.
And this is what we stand. Because I got arrested, to our viewers, if you didn't know that, I got arrested for being at a Black Lives Matter protest for being pro-black. And if you guys don't believe, my house is full of Black Lives Matter signs. If you come to my house,
I was in what's it called, had a Black Lives Matter movement thing, and I was a part of that. I was one of the people that marched in that.
And here's the thing about this: if you treat it properly, I'm sorry to say this, guys. If you treat Bill Russell, probably the most lovable, greatest big man of all time, the top 3 world's greatest centers of all time, and the best defending center of all time. Bill Russell was a problem.
Well, there's a guy named Wilt Chamberlain. He got 10 blocks a game if you counted blocks.
All right, but we're gonna talk about Bill Russell. But here's the thing: I can't stand the Celtics. You disrespected Bill Russell, one of your greatest players, top 3 greatest players in Celtic history. Top 3 greatest Celtics: Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, Larry Bird. Top 3 greatest Celtics. And if you throw Kevin McHale, maybe. And Sam, you know I love Kevin McHale because we had a conversation about that when I came to visit you at Fairleigh, remember?
No, yeah, Kevin McHale was the man.
He was a bad dude. You know how I feel about Kevin McHale.
I would maybe put KG above him, but Kevin McHale, he was a bad man.
He was a bad man, and Sam knows my love for Kevin McHale. But here's the thing: I know it's Black History Month, and I appreciate it. But to all you viewers that say, "Oh, this is a sports show," what do we got to do? What does Black History Month have to do with all sports show? Here's the thing: if you guys didn't notice, two people on the Get Your Game On podcast are black. If you didn't notice that,
Two and a half.
Fine, 2.5.
Thank you.
Shut up.
And there's a bunch
You
of
have to.
there's a bunch of like ways you connect Black history to sports. There's a ton of ways. From Jackie Robinson onward.
Adam, I'm not gonna lie, you cut off. It sounded like there's a bunch of way you can smoke it. Adam, I'm not gonna lie.
What?
You cut out. It sounded like
You
you
just.
No,
Oh, I cut out. Oh,
from
it
him
just saw
is-
my internet connection was unstable.
No.
But here's the thing, boys. But here's the thing.
Okay, go.
Here's the thing. People here's the thing. Back in the 60s and 70s, three out of 3 people, only 3 people could be friends on this podcast. It would be me, Sam, and Marcellus. Chris, Alex, and Adam, we wouldn't be friends because they wouldn't allow it, especially in Boston in the South. So I know this ain't about sports. I'm just saying. If we wouldn't do this show, we want to educate people on sports and about civil rights. And I think it's important, we all could agree that we need to educate people because sports, there is racism in sports. We could agree to that. 100%.
Oh, definitely.
Chris could agree with
Just
that.
look at the NFL and the coaching situation.
And the NBA was racist too for years. Here's the thing. You treated majority of your black players like crap in the NBA before the ABA. We all could agree to that. And I know if Chris is watching porn, but we I don't know.
Mike, do you mind if I just cut in here real quick?
Go right ahead, brother.
I think people need to understand real quick why Bill Russell is such an icon for the NBA. Because I'm one to say, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say that Bill Russell isn't the top 10 greatest players of all time, but he's number 10. In my top 10 centers of all time, Bill Russell's like number 5. Bill Russell for me is like not Bill Russell for me is like not one of those great centers. He was an amazing center, but he wasn't one of those great centers. He just has rings, and he had a lot of people help him.
Your opinion, respect.
But the reason why he's such an icon is because in terms of basketball skills, yeah, I think kind of low of him. But in terms of just actually being an icon, actually being like a black male icon in the 1960s where there was so much racism, it was just phenomenal what he was doing. Like, he was breaking barriers, he was breaking standards back then. And back then, basketball was a white man's game. Like
100%.
Like even for like the Lakers, the Minneapolis Lakers had like a strong stretch. Who was leading them? George Mikan. So just the fact that he was doing all of that and making it relevant, he broke the barrier for the ABA to come into it. And the ABA and NBA kind of merged during the 70s. That's when we started to really see all these different players start to come in. And now even like all these European players are starting to come in. So now we're breaking barriers between the NBA and the EuroLeague. Now European players like Luka Doncic, Rudy Gobert, Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're starting to come over. Like Nikola Jokic, they're starting to come over.
Damn, I
so
agree
like you just see these
100%,
transitions, brother. And it's just amazing how far we've actually come.
Yeah, but here's the thing, boys. A revolutionary said, "I have a dream," and we will not be contacted by the color. Will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the contact of their character. And I think that's what sports did for all of us. You see a black guy walking down the street, dribbling a basketball, picking up a ball. You be, oh, he's good at basketball. You see a white boy with a white guy having golf clubs. Doesn't make him a great golfer. He just loves the game. It doesn't make a Spanish guy playing baseball. Having baseball gear doesn't make him great at baseball. He just loves the sport. And it doesn't really mean anything. If you love that sport, doesn't matter what color you are, you should remember you love the game for your sport. For our viewers that say, what the heck I'm talking about? Hell, when I used to play other sports, I had other teams call me nigger when I was growing up, and it offended me. So all you viewers that say, oh, well, what does that do with get your game on? Racism is very bad in sports, and it needs to stop. It doesn't mean like, hey, I play Adam all the time in basketball. He's one of my closest friends on this planet. Never called me the N-word once. Alex, one of my closest friends on this planet. 2, never called me the N-word ever. Chris, one of my other closest friends, never called me N-word. Still has called me the N-word because he would die. But if Sam called me the N-word, I don't know Sam that well. He's became one of my good friends. Never called me nigger. Never. Marcellus, I don't even have to say anything because our family will whoop our ass. But to getting to the point is love the sport and racism. That's all I gotta say.
Amen, Michael. Excellent job.
Just grammar, real quick. I think you meant love basketball, hate racism.
Shut up! We ain't talking about grammar. Shut up! I went to a private high school. I didn't know better. Leave me alone. Me and Adam went to a stupid school. We weren't smart.
You said love basketball and racism. I'm like, I don't think you meant love racism. I think
he said end racism. I think he said end racism.
Said end.
Oh, and I thought you said and I'm like,
oh my God, Sam.
He said and racism.
And that has to be a clip.
No,
that has to be a clip.
Okay, I'll make that a clip.
Listen, guys.
Jesus, Sam. Sam, ladies and gentlemen, Sam F. Morrell is the racist on this show.
No,
don't. Sam just got exposed.
Mike, please don't do this to me. I coach children for a living.
Nah, he's good people. He's just ignorant, but not racist. There's a difference.
No, I'm not ignorant. I'm 20% deaf. I can't hear your bullshit.
Yo, Adam, Chris, Alex, Marcellus, for Sam's next birthday, know what we buy him?
Hearing aids.
Hearing aids. We all chip in. What do you say, Chris? We buy him some hearing aids?
Okay, we'll all chip in.
Works for me.
We all buy him some, Marcellus, we buy Chris Sam some hearing aids?
I think we should.
Sam, text us your address. We'll send you some hearing aids.
Jesus. I'm not
gonna... hearing aids money can buy.
No, but it was just really funny. Like in my head, I'm like, why would you say and racism? That doesn't make sense.
Sam, you're too funny for me.
I was just like,
Alex,
he wants to end racism. Why would he say love racism? That's not.
Hey,
that's,
Sam,
that's,
hey,
that's,
Alex,
that's
should we give Sam our Cameron's hearing aids?
Yes.
All right, so let's move on.
All right, we gotta move. We gotta move on. We are gonna do we'll do a brief Super Bowl discussion, but first, as we gotta mention this one story very quickly. Update really quickly to Trevor Bauer's story. He will not be facing any charges in his sexual assault case.
I got one thing to say about Trevor Bauer. Please, Adam. Please, Adam. Come on.
Just FYI, I posted on Twitter just because he's not facing charges. A, it doesn't mean he's innocent, and B, it doesn't mean he's not going to face
Please let me explain something, Adam, before I have to kill this man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Dodgers do not represent Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is a piece of shit. If Jackie Robinson was alive today and saw this happening, Jackie Robinson will wring him by his neck. So Trevor Bauer, you are on my hit list with Jose Altuve. But Trevor Bauer, I have sisters, and I swear to God, and a niece, and I swear to God, on my grandma's grave, if you go near them, you better hope to God, they don't find your body. Because I swear to God, I'm going to drive it all the way to the deep pits of the earth, and you will never be found again. And I'm talking to God. You better hope to God they don't find you. Because I will do so much damage they may think it's an accident. That's how bad it is.
But I did want to say here, Marcellus, I wanted to bring you this conversation. I wanted to bring this conversation from this perspective. With all this stuff with Cody Joe, I think we can okay say, thank God he didn't sign off the Mets. Thank God. I mean, obviously this stuff here is like reprehensible behavior, but even before all this stuff, turnaround was nothing but bad news. Nothing but bad news.
Absolutely.
Upset alert, boys. We had an upset alert, by the way. Knicks just beat the Warriors.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
They kind of needed it after losing CJ.
Okay. But now, guys, do you guys want to move on to the Super Bowl now? Okay.
Let's make it fast.
We should say it. F. Trevor Bauer. That's all we gotta say. We're moving on.
Fuck Trevor Bauer.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I said, will the Knicks need this because they lost out on CJ, and I just felt like the murderous aura coming out from the screen from Marcellus.
All right.
Damn, Marcel's going to kill you, Sam. Good luck.
It's all right. I'm over it.
Okay. Really quickly, we're going to do a really quick Super Bowl.
I'll go first.
Six preview here. You want to go first? Okay, Michael, go ahead. Go first.
Bengals Nation, Joe Burrow, Super Bowl MVP. I'm calling my shot. Bengals with the upset in Los Angeles on the upset.
That's where I'm leaning. I was saying, I think the Rams are the more talented team in the Super Bowl. I think they're the more talented team, but there's just something about the Bengals. The Bengals are just one of those kind of runs where it's just everything seems to be clicking. Joe Burrow's obviously been on such an amazing run, and there's just something about the Bengals. I think they're ultimately going to pull off. I think they will pull off. Not to discredit the Rams.
Okay,
not to discredit the Rams, but I agree, Michael. I got the Bengals in this one too.
Good nerd.
All right, Sam, go ahead.
I'll go next. So I just agree with both of you. I'm going to go with the Rams. I've had the Rams winning this since the start of the Super Bowl. I knew the Rams were going to make it to the Super Bowl, even though people were doubting the Rams, kind of. And
Sam, you did not bet on the Rams. Shut up.
I did. You can look at the first episode where I was on it, where we talked about the Super Bowl predictions. I literally said the Rams will make the Super Bowl, and some of y'all thought I was crazy.
You still crazy.
I said the Rams were going to make the Super Bowl, and the Rams were going to win the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers didn't make it. The Bengals made it. So I was wrong about that. But I still have the Rams winning it against the Bengals. And I just know they're going to get it done. Because here's the thing. The Bengals are on a hot streak. But I feel like this isn't like one of those hot streaks. Like I feel like this is one of those hot streaks where it's like a team that's not really supposed to make it makes it, and then it's like they get destroyed. Because like I don't think it's like cardiac Kemba, like UConn type levels of like, oh, they're on a run. I feel like it's just they're on a good run, but I feel like their luck's gonna run out with the Rams. I feel like the Rams can close it out.
All right, I'll go next. Yeah, I agree with what Sam said for the most part. I think the Rams win. I think the Rams' defensive front should just absolutely dominate. I mean, the Bengals' O-line is really good against the Chiefs, but they're still not a good unit by any means. And Aaron Donald and that crew should just dominate. They should dominate this game, honestly. But, I mean, the Bengals have found ways to win games, and honestly, the offense haven't been great in the playoffs, and they're in the Super Bowl. Like Joe Burrow he hasn't had to be great in any of these games. Their defense has been phenomenal, which is why I give them a chance at least in this game. And I think you have to at least consider them like, oh, this should be a great game because like the Bengals defense has been phenomenal in the playoffs, and like Joe Burrow has just had to. I hate throwing out the term, but because it's a lot of people think of it negative, but he's just had to manage a lot of these games and find ways to get the job done in advance. But that said, I think the Rams win. I think they have too much talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So I expect them to win.
respect it.
One thing I will say, I feel like this has the potential to maybe be one of the lowest scoring games in the Super Bowl, just because both of these teams, in terms of offense, isn't bad, but mostly their defense is carrying them to this.
I agree, and they'll both. They neither team have like they don't need to be aggressive taking shots. Like I could see it like 17-13 or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, Marcellus, you're up.
Just as much as I love this story, man, I love Joey Burr. I love the run that he's doing. I definitely love the Bengals as an underdog, but I'm gonna come to my senses. I'm gonna have to take the Rams on this one, but I think that it's gonna be a very close game, and I think the Rams might win by a field goal. Honestly, the way the playoffs are going.
Alex, you can go. You can go.
I would have to go with the Bengals 23, Rams 17.
All right, Adam. But here's the thing for our next episode: winner takes all. The end season 1, winner takes all.
I'll think about it. I'll consider.
Yo, how about
I'll come up with something. I'll come up with something.
And everybody
so let's move
on
on to
that
a betting
episode.
section, please.
Sam, you better hope to God you're on that episode.
The season finale, like, just for the record, our next episode is going to be our semi-finale, and then the episode after that will be the season finale.
You think, to our viewers, you think all of our hosts should be on that show for the last 2 episodes?
The season finale, everyone, it's a mandatory for everyone. Season finale, everyone is mandatory.
Marcellus and Sam, that goes for you too, because I know Marcellus going to forget.
Okay. All right. Quick question. When we get to the betting section, can I do my bet first? Because I have a really funny one that I know Mike's going to yell at me at.
Okay. We'll see, because I know Chris and Alex have to go, so we may have to do them first. But, guys, we're moving on to our bets of the episode. We're going to do this really quick recap. 2 else won bet. I won my bet. I had USA over China on the spread, -2.5. USA won 8-0. So that was a very easy bet for me. Alex had Jazz over Warriors and St. Mary over Santa Clara. Warriors beat the Jazz. Jazz beat the Warriors, but St. Clair upset St. Mary. So, sorry, Alex. Chris had Kansas over Texas, Illinois over Purdue, Virginia over Iowa State. I don't know all the outcomes. All I know, Chris, is that you lost. Sam, you won your bet. You had the Magic over Trailblazers on Maryland. You won. You added 8.62 points. Oh, by the way, in my bet, I added 9.09 points. Marcellus, you lost your bet. Suns over Bulls spread. Shanoa over Mercer and Knicks over Jazz on money line. I forget which one, but I know you lost your bet, so you lost. Michael had Duke over Virginia on the money line. Grizzlies over Clippers money line. And Warriors over Thunder. Virginia upset Duke, Michael.
But parlay got fucked.
Wait, Adam, wait. I won another bet by using the Magic, and I only got 8 points.
Yeah, you only got 8 points. Yeah, because you picked one game.
The fuck?
Okay. But give it update on the standings. Michael remains in first place, 31-41 record, 388.25 points. I remain in second place, 31-41 record, 360.74 points. Sam remains in third place, 31-41 record, 341.90 points. Alex remains in fourth place, 27-45 record, 330.49 points. Chris remains in fifth place, 31-41 record, 328.04 points. Marcellus remained in last place, 29-33 record, 309.43 points. All right, really quickly, we're just going to throw all our bets out there. For my bet, I got the Bengals over the Rams on my line at the Super Bowl, and I got Joe Burrow over on the pass yards. Just saying a parlay. That's my bet.
Okay, so I'll go next, and Mike, you may kill me for this bet, but I'm going to be going only for the Hail Marys because I'm in third place. I'm probably going to be staying in third place the entire time.
What bet you're doing, you stupid fool?
So obviously I'm going to choose the Rams over the Bengals.
Okay.
And actually, wait. I feel like we should make the Super Bowl bets separate from these bets, just so that it's like more interesting.
Get to the point before I have to smack you.
It is going to be separate. It is going to be separate. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, my Super Bowl bet has to do with the Rams over the Bengals, and then my actual bet for this episode has to do with this. I'm choosing the Magic, but I'm choosing them twice for a parlay.
What?
I'm choosing the Magic over the Jazz, and I'm choosing the Magic over the Suns. If I win that bet, I'm pretty sure I get over 200 points, since the Jazz have 39 wins and the Suns have like 40 wins. And the Magic only have 13.
When did the Magic play the Suns?
They do back to back. So they first played the Jazz on Friday, tomorrow, and then they played the Suns on Saturday.
Okay. So I'll allow it. You know what, Sam? I'll allow it. Woo, boy!
If I win those two games somehow, I'm literally gonna be flipping shit.
All right, Alex, you typically go. Alex, you're up.
Okay, so I am going to do Xavier over UConn.
Xavier over UConn, got it.
And I'm not done yet. And 1 second. And I'm going to go with Sixers money line against Cleveland.
Okay, I don't hate it. All right, Chris, you're up next.
All right. I'm going to do a 2-team NBA parlay for Saturday. Both games are Saturday. I'm going to do Grizzlies over the Hornets is the first one. And then it's the second one. I'm going to go Lakers over the Warriors.
Ooh.
Are you sure no one wants to verse me?
Chris spends so much time slandering the Lakers on his podcast. Yeah, he's picking them over the Warriors.
Without Draymond, I think they win that.
Chris, you got some nerve. You
Warriors
have disrespected my Lakers.
Warriors aren't a good team without Draymond.
You disrespected my Lakers on many episodes. Now you want to be buddy. We don't accept your bet. How do we veto his bet?
Okay, so here's the real question. Which one of y'all are going to try to verse me since I'm in third place?
I'm not versing that point. I'm not adding the 0.02 points to my parlay.
Stab, you fucking idiot. We ain't doing that.
That's why it's a smart move, because I know no one will verse me. So it's like, if I win, I just win.
All right, Marcellus, you're up.
I'm going to take the Hornets spread over the Pistons.
Oh!
Yep.
Oh, so Pistons spread, got it. I thought you were going against Chris or Sam there for a second.
I'll take that.
Sorry, who are the Hornets playing again?
The Pistons.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Mr. Ringleader, Micah Cunningham. Last up, go ahead.
I'm going to do the Bengals over the Rams for my Super Bowl bet. But that's that doesn't count for our record, right?
No, that doesn't count for our record, no.
And I have the Cavaliers over the Pacers. And I have the Sixers over the Thunder.
You pussy.
Shut up. I know you ain't talking. Mister, you missed the one bad bet and I'm fucking
who'd you pick again, Michael?
Sixers over Thunder.
Okay, gotcha.
Pussy.
And Cavaliers over Pacers.
Pussy.
Fuck you, slut. My dick is big. I don't need to be a pussy.
All right, guys, that's all for our bets. That's all for our episode. Guys, just out of curiosity, what are y'all doing for the Super Bowl? As far as me, I'm getting together with my uncle and my dad. We're going to watch it together.
I think I have a game. I think I have to coach a game before the Super Bowl, so I'm going to just be talking shit.
Everyone, moment of silence for Sam here. Moment of silence for Sam here.
Adam, I got to head out. Juices, stay black.
Yeah, I'm out too.
Later. All right, yeah, but let me do the outro, guys. All right, guys, that's it. This is episode 73 of the Gay Gab Podcast with yours truly, Adam Grisani, Mike Cunningham, Alex Reach, Chris Kieran, Marcellus Murdoch, Sam Burrell, and our special guest, Justin Todd. Like you heard, leave a like and follow or subscribe to that podcast. Also, if you want to join the conversation, drop a comment for a review, and may feature it in a future episode. Remember, my friends, those human dreams are just fantasy. If you imagine a world, believe in it, and dive in. See you next time, and until then, stay lit.
And round.